Oh! So you've just started Final Fantasy XIV, you've created your Warrior of Light, and now you're stuck on picking a job. You think about how Dragoons love to backflip off the arena, and you think to yourself, I want to do that. So you became a Dragoon. Dragoon is still my favorite melee DPS in the game. Even with all the stuff that was added and changed in Dawntrail, I still love this class to death. It has a lot of flashy abilities, and the combo still feels super smooth. So let's get into it. Let's start with your main combo, where you'll start with True Thrust, into Vorpal Thrust, then into Full Thrust. You also have your other combo, which starts with True Thrust, then into Disembowel, then into Chaos Thrust. Disembowel will apply a 10% damage buff to yourself, called Power Surge, for 30 seconds, while Chaos Thrust will apply a 24-second damage overtime, or DOT for short. Chaos Thrust is also a rear positional. At level 56 and 58, you'll get Fang and Claw and Wheeling Thrust. After doing the Full Thrust combo, you'll be able to use Fang and Claw, which has a flank positional. After doing the Disembowel combo, you can use Wheeling Thrust, which has a rear positional. This will make each combo be 4 weapon skills. At level 64, you'll be able to use Drake's Bane. This essentially acts as a 5th part to either combo, meaning you can use it after Fang and Claw or Wheeling Thrust, depending on which combo you use. Drake's Bane does not have any positional requirements as well. At level 76, after successfully finishing either combo, you'll get a buff called Draconian Fire, which will change True Thrust to Raiden Thrust, which does more damage. At level 90, every time you use Raiden Thrust, it'll give you 1 First Mind's Focus. Once you get 2, you can use Wormwind Thrust, which is a line AoE attack. By this point, you should start looping the combos back and forth, starting with the Disembowel combo to apply Power Surge and Chaos Thrust, then going into your Full Thrust combo in order to do more damage. Make sure to use Wormwind Thrust whenever you can to make sure you don't overcap. To help put it into perspective, I'll show you an example of me doing a full combo loop. As you can see, as long as you follow the combo, you'll automatically reapply Power Surge and Chaos Thrust, while still having enough time to do a Full Thrust combo for damage. Your AoE combo will consist of Doom Spike into Sonic Thrust, then into Korthan Torment. At level 82, after using Korthan Torment, it'll give you Draconian Fire, which will change Doom Spike to Draconian Fury, which does more damage and gives you 1 First Mind's Focus. You also have a range attack, which is Piercing Talon. Dragoons also have a few different jumps at their disposal. Jump will make you jump to your target and then back. Despite your character literally jumping to your target and back, this isn't a gap closer. Your position stays the same the entire time. At level 68, after using jump, you'll be able to use Mirage Dive, which is a single target attack. Dragonfire Dive will do AoE damage and is also a gap closer. At level 92, after using Dragonfire Dive, you'll be able to use Rise of the Dragon, which is an AoE attack. Elusive Jump will make you backflip 15 yalls behind you. You can use this as a gap opener or a gap closer if you aim your back on where you want to go. Winged Glide, while not really a jump, is your normal gap closer that doesn't do any damage. You will also get a second charge of Winged Glide at level 84. Before we go on, if you're enjoying this video so far, I highly suggest you subscribe and leave a like, as it helps a lot. If you want to support me even further here on YouTube, you can hit the join button and become a member. It's only $1 a month, and anything helps. If you want to support me even more, you can join the higher tier, where I'm letting them vote on which guide I do next. I also stream on Twitch and YouTube almost every week, so if you want to watch me live, be sure to check out the Twitch link in the description below, or look out for my streams on YouTube. Thanks so much for your support. Anyways, at level 60, you'll get Geirskogul, which is a line AoE attack that at level 70 will put you into Life of the Dragon for 20 seconds. Life of the Dragon, or Life Phase, will increase your damage dealt by 15%. This will give you 3 stacks of Nastrand as well. Nastrand is also a line cleave attack that has a 2-second recast time, meaning you can weave 1 Nastrand after any weapon skill you use. At level 80, when you enter Life Phase, you'll be able to use Stardiver, which does a lot of AoE damage and is also a gap closer. Stardiver will change to Star Cross at level 100. This also does a lot of AoE damage, but isn't a gap closer. Whenever you enter Life Phase, make sure to always use all 3 Nastrand stacks, Stardiver, and Star Cross. Life Surge will make it so your next weapon skill will be a guaranteed critical hit. Life Surge also has a small lifesteal effect. I still want an actual personal mid square. You'll get a second charge of Life Surge at level 88. Life Surge should primarily be used on Full Thrust or Drake's Bane, as they are your strongest weapon skills. Lance Charge will increase your damage dealt by 10% for 20 seconds. Battle Litany will increase the critical hit rate of yourself and nearby party members by 10% for 20 seconds. Overall though, Dragoon still feels amazing. I love all the new buttons they got, and while the job feels a lot more busy than it used to, I still feel like it's a ton of fun to play. But yeah, that basically sums up Dragoon, so... You think we're done? Let's talk about your opener and rotation. Also, spoiler warning for the 5th area of Dawntrail in the first EX trial. The opener for Dragoon has a lot of double weaving, which for those unaware is when you use 2 abilities in between one weapon skill or GCD. An example is doing Chaotic Spring, then weaving Battle Lightning and Geirskogul before the GCD timer of Wheeling Thrust is back up. With that out of the way, let's go over the standard level 100 opener, which is True Thrust, Spiral Blow, Weave Lance Charge, and a Tincture of Strength. Chaotic Spring, Weave Litany and Geirskogul, Wheeling Thrust, Weave High Jump and Life Surge. Drake's Bane, Weave Dragonfire Dive and Astron, Ride and Thrust, Weaving Stardiver, Lance Barrage, Weaving Star Cross and Life Surge. Heaven's Thrust, Weaving Nastron and Rise of the Dragon, Fang and Claw, Weaving Nastron and Mirage Dive, Drake's Bane, Ride and Thrust, Weaving Whirlwind Thrust, then into Spiral Blow. I wasn't joking, it is a lot of double weaves. Doing this opener properly will ensure that all of your buffs will be lined up and you'll enter life phase with all of your important cooldowns. I will mention this does take practice to learn. I would suggest practicing the opener anytime you can on a striking dummy. If you don't own one, you can always go to Summerford Farms in Middle Lenosha or Stone Sky Sea in Heritage Found. The rotation itself mainly consists of doing your combo loop over and over in order to keep up Power Surge and the dot. Make sure to always use Life Surge on Heaven's Thrust throughout the rest of the fight. You only really need to use it on Drake's Bane in the opener. I'd also recommend always using Wormwind Thrust as soon as you can to ensure that you don't overcap on the gauge. If you can fit it under buffs, great. If not, then don't worry about it and get it out before you overcap. You'll enter Life Phase with Lance Charge active during your odd minute burst, and will enter Life Phase with Lance Charge, Litany, and any other 2-minute buffs that your party puts up during your 2-minute burst. Something to note as well is that Stardiver has a long enough animation lock that you cannot double weave with it, so make sure to only single weave Stardiver to make sure you don't clip your GCD. Make sure to also use your abilities whenever they come off cooldown so you don't screw up the buff alignment. Both the odd minute and 2-minute bursts are very hectic. It's a lot of button pressing, and during some of the harder content in the game, it can be pretty hard to keep up with. This is why I'm putting heavy emphasis on practicing. I kid you not, just go hit the striking dummy for like 3 to 5 minutes and practice doing the opener and rotation. Your main goal is to get this baked into your muscle memory, so that way, when you're focused on doing mechanics, you won't even think about what buttons you're pressing. But now that basically sums up Dragoon, so bye!